Papoose said Remy Ma didn't show up to court, baby. But if she really wasn't there, then who exactly was that whole song written for? Somebody's story isn't adding up. And when a timeline doesn't add up, Stella adds it up for you. Meanwhile, Claressa is over on DAZN calling herself sexy and thick on a brand account with a million eyes watching. The cup is full, honey. Let's spill it. Welcome back to Tea with Stella, where the tea is always hot and we never water it down. Everything discussed in this video is based on publicly available information. Now, baby, let's get into it. Papoose and Remy Ma's divorce has been messy for a long time now, and Claressa Shields has been standing right in the middle of it since day one. This week gave us two stories at once. Papoose dropped bars about a court date, and Claressa got handed the keys to a major sports platform and immediately drove it off a cliff. Grab your pillow, honey, because this one has layers.
The nerve in niggas claiming that they wrote those hits when their whole career they ain't never ghost wrote shit. Not for me or anybody else. You always acting like you help a nigga, go help yourself. See, I know what the problem is. I don't really brag enough, but you don't talk about prices. When your bag is up, you keep talking numbers, but the numbers ain't adding up. You wanna be a baddie, but you ain't bad enough. See, I know how to network. I own a network. You know you getting money when they Googling your net worth. I'm a motherfucking expert. And how you talking out your neck when I know how your nigga neck work?
Welcome back to Tea with Stella, where the tea is always hot and we never water it down. Everything discussed in this video is based on publicly available information. Now, baby, let's get into it. Papoose and Remy Ma's divorce has been messy for a long time now, and Claressa Shields has been standing right in the middle of it since day one. This week gave us two stories at once. Papoose dropped bars about a court date, and Claressa got handed the keys to a major sports platform and immediately drove it off a cliff. Grab your pillow, honey, because this one has layers.
Oh, so let me tell you something. The truth will always be there. You know, Clarissa is going to stand by her man. Well, is going to stand by Remy Ma's husband. If I had to give the best mistress award, like the top mistress, we got to start giving out mistress awards. Like at the end of the year, I got to give her credit because she is doing way more than what she's been contracted to do. Matter of fact, she's not even on contract. And you doing all of this. Why hasn't the divorce papers been signed? Why hasn't the divorce gone through? Why are you out here campaigning for a man that's somebody else's man? Why are you helping to inflate income that is going to be directly used in his divorce to pay Remy? This is giving very much Pimp and Hoe, very much Iketina, because she is the quote. Remy came out with a diss track, and it sucked. It did. Remy raps off beats. In this diss track, she's basically saying, how can Papoose say he wrote my hits? By listening to this track, I can definitely tell that Papoose was needed on the track. Remy didn't write this. Papoose can write, he can rap. He's just not brandable. He's not talented. Nobody wants to be him. Nobody wants to be a gangster rapper, like wants to be like a gangster rapper in love. That is not what the culture is looking for. I think it's kind of cute, though, but like, you know, that's not what the industry is looking for. She did say, how you gonna, you know, write hits? And of course, his number one mistress here comes out to throw shade, as if like Remy was talking to her. Remy was talking to her husband. She wasn't talking to you, bird. You were going from the greatest female fighter to a bird. They're still not divorced. This bird here is talking about having a baby from a married man.
Now let's decode this baby, because he didn't say her name, but he didn't have to. Every line about a woman rewriting the story, every line about someone not showing up, every line dripping with resentment, we all know exactly who he meant. When a man spends this much energy on a woman he claims he's already moved on from, that is not closure, honey. That is unfinished business set to a beat. And here's what really gets me, baby. If Claressa is supposedly the future, why is the entire song still centered on the past? It's not one bar about the woman he says he's building a life with. Not one line celebrating this so-called love story. Baby, you don't write an entire track about someone you've truly let go of. You write it about the person still living rent-free in your head.
Also, she want to talk about all of this money talk and all of this and what I don't got and what I got. Since I met her, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth. And with me saying that, I want to say this to y'all. Anyone who has an iPhone, you know how iPhones work. When I was younger, I used to be able to write rhymes in my head, create rhymes in my head, and remember them. Just like that. As time went on, I got a little older, I started to write rhymes in my email draft. Now, if you have an iPhone, you go in your email draft. If anybody come around me and we're in the flesh next to each other, I can type in any word from one of her songs and her entire rap will come up. The entire verse will come up. I never asked for a penny. I never asked for credit. She was my wife. I didn't want anything from her. I just wanted to see her win. Like I said, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth since I met her. Y'all said it. Y'all said it numerous times. Oh, we know that's Pep behind that pen. Did I ever agree with y'all? Did I ever put it out there? I never said I wrote her rhymes. I left it.
Papoose claims Remy didn't show up to court and that she's trying to shift blame onto him. But baby, when only one side of a story gets a microphone and a beat behind it, that is not the full truth. That is a press release with a hook. If Remy truly no-showed, why does he need an entire song to convince the internet? People who are telling the truth don't usually need a soundtrack. Now let's get into the real chaos. Claressa was somehow given creative control over DAZN's official account, a platform with over 1 million followers. And baby, she used it to call herself the best female boxer in the world, misspell her own name, and then follow it up by calling herself sexy and thick on a corporate brand page. Somebody handed her the keys to a brand and didn't think this through, baby. Heads are about to roll, and they should. Baby, think about the audacity of it. A publicly traded, globally recognized sports platform trusted by fans to deliver professional coverage, and instead it got turned into someone's personal hype account for an afternoon. Somewhere a marketing director is currently updating their resume. And honestly, baby, they should be. Now stay with me, baby, because Stella has a theory. What if this wasn't a mistake at all? What if this entire meltdown was a calculated stunt to get people talking before a pay-per-view? Because let's be honest, ticket sales weren't exactly buzzing before this. Was this the plan all along? Bad press still sells tickets, baby. Let that sink in. The comments did not hold back. Fans called it unprofessional, called for accountability, and a wave of people announced they were canceling their subscriptions entirely. Everything Claressa touches doesn't turn to gold, baby. It turns into consequences. And when a brand's own customers are begging for someone to get fired, that is not a viral win. That is a 5-alarm fire dressed up as marketing, baby. There's a difference between going viral and going down in flames. And this week, Claressa proved she still can't tell the two apart. You cannot buy back a first impression once 1 million people have already formed one. And honey, that impression was not flattering. And just when you thought the drama couldn't stack any higher, Kate Scott stepped into frame, defending her belts and reminding everyone she has 17 years in this sport. She smiled at Claressa's little speech, baby, but that wasn't a smile of respect. That was the smile of a woman who already knows she's about to take something that isn't hers to keep. Watch that smile again. It says everything her mouth didn't. Claressa calls herself the GWEAT, the greatest woman of all time. 16-0 Olympic gold championship belts. But baby, none of the headlines this week are about any of that. When this many separate stories are all pointing at the same pattern, the problem is never the people pointing, baby. The problem is always the pattern. And honey, that's the tragedy in all of this. A woman with a genuinely undefeated record is currently trending for a caption instead of a fight. When your legacy starts competing with your own social media behavior for attention, baby, the social media behavior is winning, and that should terrify everyone around her. So let's recap, honey. Papoose is still singing about a court date he claims Remy skipped, proving with every bar that he hasn't fully let go. Claressa took the keys to a major platform and used them to inflate her own ego instead of selling a single ticket. And the internet watched every second of it happen in real time, screenshotting receipts as fast as she could post them. Do you think Papoose was really talking about Remy? Do you think DAZN messed up giving Claressa that access? Drop your answers in the comments, baby, because this tea is way too hot to drink alone. And honey, there's a part of this story nobody's talking about yet, but Stella already has the receipts. That's a video for another day. I'm Stella. The tea is always hot here.